watching.
Well, he's been called the human fly, Spider-Man, an adrenaline junkie on the internet through social media. We've been listening to WCBS, and this man, who since a little bit before 3 o'clock this afternoon has attempted to scale the Trump Towers right there in New York, in the heart of Midtown, shutting down traffic. And our Tony Dokoupil is right there, not far from where the scene is taking place. Tony, what can you tell us?
Hey Vlad, hey Rena. I'm on 56th Street, which is the street facing the climber. They're calling him the human fly. That's how common building scalings are here in New York City. But NYPD tells CBS News that this particular human fly cannot be identified and doesn't look like a familiar character to them. As you say, he started at about 3:40, was noticed about then. Police were called in, and now he's at about the 16th floor. That means he's got a very long way to go. There are 58 stories in this building. Some people are wondering, what's the big deal? There's a guy on the side of a building. He's no harm to anybody. The reason this is a big deal, the reason the NYPD is here in force by the dozens, the reason there are helicopters overhead is not only for that individual, it's because this is Trump Tower, a building where Donald Trump has his residence on the 58th floor. That penthouse you've seen in so many interviews, it is in this building behind me. Donald Trump lives there. One eyewitness a few moments ago told me that when the guy initially started his climb, Ivanka Trump was walking through the lobby of the building. She was swiftly taken away. So this is serious because the Republican candidate for the President of the United States, a guy who could be running the country January 1st, lives in the building that this man is climbing. So we're talking about an extremely high wire act of trespassing, and the NYPD is taking it extraordinarily seriously. They've got a ladder down, which I'm sure you've seen in some of your live shots. And if you could just look up there, there's not only the ladder, actually they've moved the ladder away, they've cut holes in a few of the vents in hopes of reaching the climber, but he's been able to move sideways and continue to make his way upward. One thing that has to be worrying for the NYPD as they consider what their next move is the man on the side of the building does not seem to be tiring and does not seem to have any difficulty doing what he's doing, using giant suction cups to methodically move slowly upward. He's able to take breaks, he's able to move left, he's able to move right. In short, he knows what he is doing. And when he was a little bit lower, we got a better look at his outfit, and it looks like he just came from a very high-end climbing shop. They could be filming a guerrilla commercial right now for some sort of a mountain climbing gear, a brand. The guy is well equipped and very skilled, and because Donald Trump lives at the top of this building, and his campaign for presidency, the Trump Organization, all of that is headquartered right here. This guy is being taken very seriously. But you know, there are really two scenes here. There's a scene on the side of the building with the climber, but there's also the scene with the gawking public. And if I could take you on a little walk here, I can introduce you to some people. The feel out here on the street with tourists from all over the world, many of them carrying luxury good bags, you know, the shopping on Madison Avenue, the shopping on Fifth Avenue, world class, world famous. They've stopped, they've gathered here, they speak a lot of languages, and it's almost like watching a World Cup match at some sort of a strange outdoor bar. Some people are rooting for the climber, they want him to get higher. Other people are not rooting for the climber. People are taking bets as to how high the climber will go. And if we get a little bit closer, I think we can talk to some people here, see what they're thinking on their surprise trip to New York City. Hi, we're live on CBSN right now. What's your name?
Rex.
Rex, how long have you been watching the climber?
Well, we were here at 3. We left because we couldn't see anything. And then on our way back, we saw him down here, so.
What do you think of the performance?
Slow and long. But it's quite impressive. I mean, what time is it now? He's been doing this for hours.
You look like you might be a climber yourself. Do you think you could do that?
Absolutely not. I'd be on that. Yeah, I'd be on that tarp by now.
What do you think the guy's plans are? He's got a backpack on. He is well equipped. He might be ready to unfurl a banner, but he might have other intentions. What are you thinking?
Well, he's clearly ambitious, so I think he's probably just trying to go to the top.
All right.
Shit.
Yeah, you know, the old quote about mountain climbing, I suppose, also applies to scaling buildings. Why do it? Because it's there. It's a challenge. Let's see if we can find somebody else here. What do we got? Oh, we got a shy individual. Hi, we're live on CBSN. How long have you been watching the climber?
About 30 minutes.
What do you think so far?
I think they should just let him climb.
What's that?
I think they should just let him climb. He's obviously going to keep going.
So you're rooting for him. You're a fan.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely causing a little bit of inconvenience for us, but yeah. Otherwise, I mean, he's not hurting anyone. I think he's okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, the mood out here for the moment is jovial in the audience. The NYPD, not so jovial. The response team, guys are wearing patches that say Strategic Response Group. They're the ones devising a plan for potentially taking this guy off the tower. As he gets higher, once again, the stakes get higher as well, because at the top of this building, Donald Trump lives. Donald Trump manages his campaign for the presidency, and family members, campaign aides, all of that is up there. So we're going to be keeping you posted, and as things develop, we'll be sure to be back on live on CBSN, guys. I'm going to toss back to you.
Yeah, Tony, in fact, it's interesting that the woman that you were just talking to says that the police should just let him continue. Once the police have ascertained that there isn't anything in that bag, and you would assume that if they thought that there was something that could be threatening to the building, threatening to people inside the building or on the ground, they would have moved quickly to remove him from the side of that building. But it appears that they may try to let him at least get up a little higher, because I went on patrol with these guys. I went out with them a couple of times, and what they're always doing is they say that they want to keep talking to the person to try to talk them down, if that's easier to do than actually trying to bring him down. Because
you just don't know what could happen.
Don't know. There are a lot of
uncertain
risks inherent in that
situation there. Tony, I'm kind of curious about Sorry, go ahead, Tony.
Go ahead. Well, I was going to say that a normal climber, you might want to let him get up as high as he can, try to talk him out of going all the way to the top, and then maybe even if he gets there, the worst he's going to do is unfurl a banner calling attention to climate change or some other issue. In this case, very different, because what's in that backpack is a mystery. NYPD says that the individual on that building is unknown to them, and so his intentions are up in the air, as he is, and the higher he goes, the more at risk the internal workings of the Trump organization, the actual offices of the Trump organization, are there. So it'll be interesting to see if the action and the remedies that the NYPD reach for are ratcheted up as this guy goes further up the building, guys.
And Tony, we know years ago the New York City Council tried to pass this what they call an anti-Spidey law, which would make it illegal to scale anything 25 feet or higher. And one councilman said, we don't want New York City to turn into Disneyland for climbers or jumpers. I'm curious what the police are saying there. Is there a sense of how long they're going to let him stay at this?
Well, there's a mixed reaction from police. There's a lot of annoyance. See if we can get away from the sirens here. I'll turn you back toward the building itself and see if we can get a visual of the climber. So there's a mixed reaction from police. Some officers are very annoyed at the crowds that are building. Everybody's got their phone out. Everybody's trying to get as close as possible. And then there's another ring of law enforcement, and they are a little friendlier. They're in between the front lines on both ends. They're smiling. They're telling stories. They're interested in how high the guy is going to go as well. And then even closer, there are bags that have been put down in case the individual falls, for his protection, also presumably to pick whatever might be in that backpack of his. Those guys at the very front, they are particularly nervous, and it's not only NYPD. Remember, this is a presidential candidate. The Secret Service is also moving around here. You can identify them by the pins they have on their lapel, the lapel of their suits. So a lot of conversation the closer you get to the building between the various levels of law enforcement as to just what they need to do. And I'm sure they're also in touch with members of the Trump organization, because Donald Trump owns this building. It's not only a building that has his name, he owns this building. So I'm sure they're in touch with the owners to get their input, anything they should know about, anything particularly at risk the higher this guy goes. And we'll just have to keep watching it.
Yeah, in fact, Tony, we do have a quick shot taken from inside Trump Tower. There you see a shot of the man as he climbs past a window there. Almost looks like he had a sort of a smile on his face. And as you point out, Tony, New York City, because of the numerous skyscrapers, the number of bridges that we have in this city, and as Rena points out, this has happened before. They tried to pass a law to prevent it or to at least make it a crime. Clearly not a deterrent for this man. As we continue to watch him scale this building, not sure exactly how high he is right now. When we first came on to the scene as far as reporting this, it looked like he was about the 6th floor. There are reports now that he may be up to as high as 12, but again, there are 80+ stories on this skyscraper. And the problem right now, of course, is going to be not only the traffic situation, but exactly what his intentions are. And right now, police aren't saying.
Tony, I'm also curious about the weather there. I know it was raining when I came into CBS this morning. What's the weather like, and how could this affect this whole situation?
Well, the sun has just a few moments ago gone behind a dark rain cloud, which could create some trouble for an individual scaling the side of a building with suction cups. Maybe he checked the weather report ahead of time. Maybe it's something that slipped his mind as he was heading out the door this morning. But there's actually some activity that started in the last few moments. There is a window washing unit on the 56th Street side of the building that is slowly descending. And I can only guess that that is not a window washer inside that contraption, but most likely members of the NYPD. So as the climber goes up on a narrow sliver of the building close to the 56th Street side, there is a platform usually used to clean the side of a building coming down, and unless he has somebody tipping him off or he's checking his phone up there, I'm sure he has no idea about this. So it's quite dramatic, actually. He keeps getting higher, the window washing platform keeps getting lower, and in not too much time at all, a matter of minutes, they're going to be parallel, and that will put the climber maybe 10 feet, maybe 15 feet, very close to whoever is in that lowered platform.
But I'm curious,
in the meantime,
Tony, we've seen this happen.
He continues to move. Yeah.
Where we've seen them get close to him, but it's unclear exactly what happens at that point, because we've heard people say that you kind of want to let him scale it as long as he possibly can, because there's a worry of what would happen if he tries to resist getting hoisted up. So exactly what happens at that point is still remains to be seen.